Ooh, yes, sir. Ooh, big fella. All right. Hey, y'all, how we doing today? It's Evan back again with another video for you. Today is Wednesday. This will be a watch list for tomorrow, Thursday, and you could possibly buy some of these on Friday and hold over the weekend. Before we get into the video, let's talk about our sponsor, Raid Shadow Legends. Start your... Could you imagine? Hell no. Got here at 7:10. I don't check my stocks that often. I usually check them, 2 or 3 times a day. I'm a normal guy. And so I checked my stocks. AEYE was up 20% pre-market. So I sold it as soon as I saw that because, I could have made more. It's still running up as we speak, but I'll take 20% for 12 hours of holding. Not bad. And then also we had PTGX. That was up 10% pre-market. I sold that as well. So I made about $150 today doing absolutely nothing. So, you'll take that. With that being said, we have a lot of positions that we have called are really developing well. FEYE looks really, really good. JILL is currently testing resistance. If that pops off, it's going to be really, really good. WDA looks really good. NTES looks good. G-Sky looks good. HCO is still running. NIO is up 2%. That's 10% for us right now. GERN looks good. PSNL lived. And the best part is, I'll show it right now. So what's really nice about this strategy and kind of going off risk versus reward and near support areas is you're going to notice over here and down, all that red right there, that's going to be lower percentages, right? Negative 0.1, negative 0.2, maybe 1.8%. We have some up here that are pretty high. But overall, we're talking mainly about a lot of green. Now, if we look over down here in this area, all that, those greens are higher, right? AEYE was a 25% play. And then today, PTGX, whatever it was. Yeah, PTGX was a 10, 11% play. So AEYE alone takes all those and washes them out, right? That's good stuff. And then the rest of this down here, all that green is all me. So am I guaranteeing a big win? No. But I'm guaranteeing you a proper setup for a possible big win, right? When convergence comes together, when you have supports, channels, trend lines all placed out correctly, you're going to have convergence. You throw in an RSI of oversold, a stochastic negative 40, MACD we're still working on. That's the redhead stepchild of my charting. I gotta find a better one. You throw in your volume profile lines for where the best volume is in the POC and stuff, and then you throw in EMA lines. When these all come together, you get such beautiful setups. You can wait for confirmation. You can do whatever you want to do, right? Watch my old video. I talk about how I validate out. But if you follow, convergence, if you follow these principles, you have a stop loss set, you win. The market is green. I may muff up some lines. I may take some L's too. But watching all these stocks the last 2 months of doing this on YouTube and on forums, I'm betting like 80% for a reason. This isn't just, a hoax. You can go back and check all the receipts yourself. So today we have 10 more good plays for you. I think you're going to enjoy them. I may have more. It just depends on how this day kind of goes. It is a red day. I have more red than green. So I might have some heaters for you. We'll check it out. Let's get into it. So as you can see above me, that's our watch list for the day. If you want to zoom in or pause and look at it, that's dope. If not, let's just get into it. So our first stock is AOS, A.O. Smith Corporation. The first thing you're going to notice is just this beautiful uptrend. There is one thing that I would call quote-unquote concerning, is that we have a massive move over here of 35%, and then a smaller one, 23, and then 13. So it is getting a bit exhausted. But if we kind of zoom out real quick, you can see that it's getting probably exhausted because of this area right here. But on the grand scheme of things, right, this volume area obviously has a lot to do with the price action. As you can see, it gets below it and comes back in, gets above it, comes back down, right? So this support area, again, historically has significance. And I think this area has significance, right? How it kind of consolidates around this line. So there's a chance it's consolidating, right? If we go off historical averages, it went down, up, down, took off. It went down, up, and we may come down. But this thing likes to follow trend lines. I mean, even historically, like, that's obvious, right? I mean, like, that's hard to miss. So this is a little bit more steep. So you can see it kind of got tired out here, went, oh, Jesus, and then took off again. I have a feeling that possibly over here, we're going to see some consolidation before it really takes off again. But this is a good support area, your price of control node, your volume area, and then your channel. You could consider right below it a support area. I mean, like I could put a white line right here. You can see action stops, support, resistance, support. So this whole area is a support area. So you have a support area with a channel. Those are my favorite. And then, of course, if it breaks above it with this ascending triangle, because ever since here, that's an ascending triangle. If it breaks above there, it's going to go crazy. Let's check the indicators. So the indicators are good for the long term. At the moment, it also looks pretty good. Off bat, it supports the 200 EMA line. And again, I don't check these until I do them with you. I check the indicators live with you, so then you can get what I kind of see. It loves the 200. It will bounce off the 50. All right, it will bounce off the 50. And right now it's below the 50 but above the 200. That's how you get some good consolidation and coiling. Now I did break above it since I started recording, so if it holds there, that's really good news. In the meantime, if it doesn't live here, the channel breaks, you have an option. I guess you could just hold it for 3% to hit this 200 EMA line. If you want to cut it and buy back in, you could save yourself potentially, about 2%. If you put like $1,000 in, that's $20. I mean, that may take some more of your time, but that is saving you money. But the channel seems to be equally as respected over the 200. RSI is 42. It's fair. Stochastic is pretty low. I'm sure. Nope, there's no divergences going on. And then MACD, I hate you. I'll replace you soon enough. So the indicators look pretty good. It's good support. You can go long safely. Worst case, you just cut it at 54.48, and you should be okay. Next is BLL, Ball Corp. What a gorgeous channel up. I mean, I just found it today. I do like scans every once in a while to kind of replenish it. Gorgeous, gorgeous channel. You'll see over here, it did break it, but it broke it by 0.58%. Am I overly concerned with that? No, because you can come over here and see this wick just tapped it a little bit. You can see over here, it didn't really touch. All right, this is a guesstimate. Okay, it's not always going to be perfect. The reason I'm also not too concerned at the moment is if you look over here and compare it to this price action where it began, that's really similar. It just kind of does like this, like, lives. So maybe it's when, live. Because I'm sure if you look at like the large scale charts here, you can see it's really pushing new highs. It's really probably exhausted. It does this a lot. Like it goes up, it comes down, it consolidates and takes off. It looks like it's doing the same exact thing here. So we know we have room to run higher, but we also know it's pretty high in the large grand scheme of things. So it may come down to $88, which isn't far away. It's 2%. You can eat that as a stop loss. So I'd say anywhere below 87.50 is probably what you want to cut it at. And then you can come down lower and buy in if you need to. But this channel has no real sign of stopping. I mean, this is not, by any means a bad channel. You just got to understand in the context of the whole entire stock, it is really high up here. So if it does take a pullback, it's fine. Just watch list it and buy in later. Let's check the indicators. Yeah, so as I was saying, it looks like it's getting a little bit exhausted. I mean, it was so far above the 200 for so long here. Like, it can't do that forever. Some folks say that shows price strength. That, to me, shows exhaustion. Like, there's no way a stock can live going up 20% over, like, a week consistently. It's not possible, right? Because folks are going to start taking profits, and folks are too scared to buy in, right? So it respects the 50 a lot as well. Don't get that twisted. It respects the 50, but it also really enjoys the 200, right? It comes down and taps it, and here we are. So I'm thinking that the channel is fine. Now maybe it's going to come down and hit this 200 a little bit below it and then come back. So this is a great value play because you have an area now. You have $90 to anywhere from $88.17. Anywhere in here is a good value, right? Not only is it a good value based on the price action, RSI is at 39. It was just oversold, and that's what, a difference of, a few pennies. So it's going to come back down. It may get a negative 30 again or get 30 again. We'll see. Stochastic is negative 18. You want to be in that negative 40 range. So it's probably going to pull back a little bit more to make a move. But again, there's no real divergences being shown. Nah, we're not going to go with that. And then MACD can't get much lower. So it looks like the indicators are on your side. And again, price action looks good. And I really like the 200 EMA play here with the channel. And then the support's a little bit farther away. So I guess, I would wish that the support could be a few dollars higher. Then it would be nice. But we'll take it here. BLL is a good stock for the future. Next is CARR, Carrier Global Corporation. It's a very similar setup to Ball. It's a gorgeous channel up. I wish I would have found it sooner. I kind of found it towards the end here. But, that's an easy 9%. That's an easy 10%. That's an easy 10%. It would have been great to abuse this while we could have. But, of course, you can't always get what you want, So, over here, again, the channel broke. But, again, what's the definition of a channel breaking? I really, the wick to that wick over here in this area, you could have easily moved it a few percentages and tweaked and got that in, right? So it is broken, but it came back into it. So I'm going to give it a pass for this one. But again, that support's very strong. You can see, right, it held support here. It held support, held support, held support. Now, we are getting what looks like we had a higher low here. So it has some life. So we got to see what it does here. If it dies off here, I wouldn't be shocked because, again, this looks like it's a aftermarket and then it came back down to earth. So it looks like this is going to be a resistance for the time being. I got it. Oh, steady fingers. So this is a 4% little channel. Now, I wouldn't waste my whole day chasing 4%. But if it does start showing higher lows in this area and survives, again, I think it may be doing, again, over here. You see how over here it had a 7% channel and it kind of had to regroup itself to take off? Maybe it's doing the same exact thing. Historical price action means a lot. Let's check the indicators. So this looks like it really respects the 50 a lot. But then again, when it gets close to the 200, it's almost like getting pushed away. So, you could technically say whenever it gets within a certain percentage of the 200, it's good. That's 5.88. That's 5.3. That's 3.6. Yeah, so it keeps some distance from the 200. That's fine. And again, you can put that into context where we're at right now. It was really close, though, 1.47. So the 200's holding. That should be your stop loss. If it doesn't, hold around 36.16, you should cut it. And again, that's probably a little bit far for a lot of people, so you can use the support area as well. You have options. RSI says it's a fair price. I don't like that. That's not really a good sign. The Stochastic says it's overdone, but again, it's a pretty small move. It's probably going to come back, and then MACD is, pretty low. So it looks like you should expect a little bit of a pullback and then buy in later. So again, tabletop this one, put an alert, maybe like 36.70, 36.80, anywhere in here. Let it come down, let a wick hit, buy in, and then take off from there. But CARR is good for the next few days. CGEN, again, is such a cuss word. I've been playing it, though, since over here. I saw it tap, and I went whoopee and had a great time. And my assumption was it was going to go whoopee back up to here, but here we are. I bought it back in here. I've just been buying at the volume line. That's all I've been doing. And I've won 6 times. I can't complain. But I want, Daddy wants that big move. So I think we're, possibly going to get it soon. We possibly may also drop. It has a history. That was the market crash. But it has a history of being lower. So we got to be careful of that, $10 over here. But again, if we were to zoom in, we could even change the chart to the 20-day. You go to here, you just buy in at this line. That's an easy 10%. I bought in here. This wasn't a great day. I bought in right over here. I called it. That was a good 10% shade. So, there's money to be made. There's a good channel here. And the volume is pretty good in the 200,000s, so you can get in and out of your position. I would be comfortable buying any time into this chart area. The closer to the bottom, the better. You can see it looks like it kind of bottoms out here. So I would be remiss not to move this up. Oh, I got it. Watch this. You hit activate. You can remove your lines. Hack for you. What's up, boys? So you can move that up a little bit higher. And as you can see, Now you can put your stop loss a little bit higher too. So I mean, this should be your stop loss, maybe 11.93. If a candle holds, I mean, if there's a wick forming, you see it kind of going up and down, wait, don't pull the trigger too quickly, right? But anywhere below here, I put a stop loss. And if we kind of zoom out now, again, that's your channel bottom. So I'd buy it any time now. It reverses quickly. You know, it taps down here and goes whoopee and just takes off. So hopefully tomorrow it's going to be green. It should be an easy 8%. Let's check the indicators. They look pretty good. RSI is 43. It's a fair price. And again, it seems to be that this area, you know, you scoot over here. This is the timetable we're talking about. You know, from here over, it looks like 39 and 40 is the number to hit to have a bounce. Stochastic, again, could be a little bit lower to make me happy. MACD, shut up, I hate you. So those look good. RSI, it looks like it's just been, not RSI, EMA lines looks like it's just been waiting to break above this 50. I mean, you know, when it breaks the 50 and the 200, it goes crazy. So, I mean, it looks like it respects the 200 way more, but that's also a good, 15% away. So who cares about that right now? So if it can break the 200, if it can break the 50 tomorrow and hold it, that's a good sign. But again, I would buy in here. It's a good value. You know, you're risking 3% to make 10 or 15. It's a good play. It's a good trade. CGEN, I'd go long tomorrow. EDU, again, found this the other day. You know, we missed a bit of the move. We missed a good, you know, it's only 4.8%. So again, my basic $500 a stock, that's $20. I'm cool with that. It obviously is using the volume area, this 70% line as a resistance that it broke above, which means a possible new channel is going to form. What we want to see, you see how this volume line, this point of control, is kind of like a good 84 days of life over here. Well, so far over here, since it broke above, we have about 64 days. Now, again, I get into all the technicals of how to judge the volume, and it's not really the best gauge ever. But if this does make a new point of control higher and moves the volume up, that's going to be tremendous for this. The channel is fantastic. I mean, even from here, if it does what we want it to do, we're talking easily another 13%. And you want to buy on the first pull-in. Or, sorry, you want to buy in on the first pullback, right? A lot of the best moves you can make, like over here, big run up, right? All that kind of good stuff. Well, you can come in a little bit closer, you can see it had a pullback, right? This was like folks take their day trades out, and then swing traders and other folks say, oh, pullback, buy in, and it goes higher. Pullback, buy in, pullback, right? So we have, you know, it pops up a pullback. Now, I'm not guaranteeing it's going to go up tomorrow, but I can guarantee you price action history says this is what kind of happens. It kind of goes up, it gets exhausted, folks buy in, it keeps going up. So EDU is a great stock. Even if it dies tomorrow a little bit, you want to wait for it to kind of do its whole motion coming back down, just watch listed. It's a fantastic stock. Let's check the indicators. And again, so it looks like the RSI says it's a little high, which makes sense. I mean, it's a big move. And again, all this price action's beneath it, so it's like, I don't know, compared to where it used to be, right? The Stochastic's a little exhausted. It's going to probably come down a little bit, and MACD finally crossed, but it's really low. So again, it looks like RSI in this area, like really kind of like studied and took off. So it looks like it has just a history. Where the Stochastic's an okay indicator, it looks like it has just a history of just like big booms, pullbacks. So we have our first really big sell-off like over here where it jumped. So let's see if we can do that again. Obviously, EMA lines are really important. It bounces off the 50. So I guess you could probably anticipate, because it broke above it, a pullback to the 50 in the next few days. So if it comes down to about $164, and again, I would buy 3 shares of this. Like, I wouldn't buy a butt ton of this. If it pulls back to the 50 and bounces, that's going to be your play. It's like Cake we called a while ago, or ALLY. It does this. Some stocks like this. And then it also loves the 200 EMA. See how it stopped there and it got supported there and supported right there? Well, it's above that. So again, this has every price action indicator in its favor. Now, I have to wait for a pullback a little bit and then buy in. But the EDU, New Oriental Education and Tech, ADR, love it. Looks fantastic. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on GFF. I called it before. I made money over here. I made a little baby money over here. I missed this move because I was doing other things, but here we are. So it looks like it's near the channel again. You can wait to buy in and let it hit again, but again, you're just going to save yourself 1%. Who cares, right? But the price action's great. I mean, it may not be perfect, but it's going higher, showing higher lows every single time it's had this. These three are lower than these three. These three are lower than these three. It has a history of having higher lows, and that resistance at 24 is very strong. There is a chance, there is a time that this is going to break, and it's going to be a good 23% move. Do I know when? No. I'm not a fortune teller, or am I? But we know that eventually it's going to break, okay? So let's just get in and plan for it. I'd buy in anytime now. If it breaks the channel, I would sell out. Or breaks this line, I would sell out. Now, again, you're risking 4 or 5% if you really want to go long on this one. But again, the price action looks really, really good. Let's check the indicators. And let's see here. So the RSI is a fair price. Okay, that's fine. Stochastic, no divergences right now. It looks like it's fair. MACD is whatever. Who cares? The EMA lines are what's stopping it, right? You can see how much it respects the 200, right? I wrote it over here, and now it can't break above it. So that's really going to be your call for GFF. It doesn't matter how good of a value you get. You're going to be capped off until this gets taken over. Now, the good news is what's going to happen eventually is it kind of muddles around here. It takes into effect the last 200 candles or so. So, I mean, you can go back, and it's probably going to be candles around this area that are really going to be holding it up. Once these kind of get taken off and, these get taken off, it's going to really lower the 200 EMA. And the lower that gets, the easier it will be to capture. And once they capture it, we're going to have a whole new ball game here. So I'd hold on to it. Keep it on your watch list. I'd buy in as long as it doesn't really die off anymore. But GFF for the future, when it does break, boy, it's going to be a beautiful day for us. LNT, I called this before. I have a few friends who are holding it. RIP while we wait. What I had before is this. I had this line over here, kind of like this. And I kind of like matched these up like that almost. And we are just kind of holding. On further evaluation, it makes a lot more sense for these all to kind of match up, those three. And you can see it does kind of line up with these over here. So I've reshaped this channel to where now it looks pretty good. Again, you want to buy in on pullbacks. Okay, first pullback. You won't buy in the second or third. But you had to run up here, it pulled back, and it took off. And this looks like it's after hours nonsense, right? Like this is a 200 volume candle. It doesn't count. That's why when it opened up, it came up to, easily went, oh, and took off, right? Pullback, buy-ins, pullback, So you can buy in pullbacks, but you're going to leverage yourself into more risk than you would have taken before. So this took off, leveraging back down. You can technically look at the downtrend to LNT and see that it's pretty far out there. Like that's not really a fair candle. So I'm going to kind of move it in a little bit to be fair. And see how these line up perfectly? That's not an accident, by the way. Like price action doesn't lie. So you can see how it does that. Look at that, live trading with you. I'm so good at my job, dude. So, just kidding. So you can see it broke above it finally, and now it's coming down and test it. So this is your first pullback. I'd buy in. If it does drop back down to like 51.25, well, now you got a double bottom. It's just as good, right? I'd buy in anytime you see life out of this. LNT looks really good. Let's check the indicators. They look pretty good. You can see again, it wants to break this 200 and just can't do it. So again, as it gets, more power, it's really going to bust above it. That's going to be super nice. RSI is a fair price. A little bit more, it's going to be oversold. And you come up on Focus scanners. MACD, it looks like it's curling up. Thanks. The 250 EMA lines, again, are both going to be resistances. Keep that in mind as it kind of runs up a little bit. Looks like you have maybe 2%, 3% to break it. Then you're really going to make some money. But LNT, just because of the price action is so fantastic, I would definitely go long as soon as I saw some life. ROK. So this looks a little bit different because I have two of these because arguably they could be either one. Now this was a stark drop off and it came back. So again, I wouldn't put as much weight into this one just because it's not perfect. I like to have these be really, really nice. But this one over here, only tapped twice, 1, 2. So again, is it any better than this one, right? Because this one has multiple hits. So I put both on there. You can see it's still technically downtrending, But anywhere from, as it drops down a little bit, anywhere from $244 to $240 is a fair price. And again, you have, the stop loss can be anywhere from $239 in that area, right? So I'll probably buy 2 shares of this, let it roll. It's a pretty expensive stock for some of you. I don't expect you to buy it all the way, all the time. But again, looks like this is probably a support area, right in this area, kind of there. So when these 3 line up kind of in this area, then again, you could say, oh, well, what about these 2? Well, yeah, but I kind of take more new price action into consideration. So I'd probably move it up a little bit to, adequately hit this and this, right? Anywhere in this gap would be a support. So it drops down the support area and channel and comes back. Let's check the indicators, but again, the price action looks pretty good. It looks pretty good. It looks like it's really going to respect the 200. That's like its big go-to, is tapping off the 200. And also looks like it respects 50 bounces, and it's kind of consolidating on the 50. So if it lives above the 50 tomorrow, I would go long. RSI is fair, Stoch is fair, MACD is fair. So again, this is just based off of trend lines. If it's an expensive stock, don't buy it for you. But Rockwell Automation, it's a big company. It's doing very well. If it keeps showing some life, I would go long. Be a good long-term hold for sure. It's a good-looking stock. RRC. Oh boy, what a triangle. Now again, I cut through this, but again, these 3 lined up so perfectly. It's not an accident, and again, it's good to show we're having lower highs. Now we have a far back there, we have a hit, and then a hit, and then a hit. So it hit multiple times and lived. Then again, I could say, well, isn't this the actual trend line, something like this? Sure, it certainly can be, right? But that's, again, part of trading. We don't know for sure. We can just go off of what we think. And I'm usually not wrong on these kinds of things. I'm not good at a lot of things, but I am good at technical analysis. So as we can see, triangle is forming and it's coiling. And it's a fantastic value. That support area is strong. You can sell at 673 for a very small loss and rebuy if it shows life. If you're really believing this bad boy, 655, 650, you're taking a pretty big hit at 6%. But again, the potential is huge. If it busts up the way we want it to, at least 12%. And if it does a higher high, which I'd hope, we're talking somewhere in the range of 20%. But again, it's a technically beautiful setup, right? This is a very strong support area. It's holding at it. This channel up is there. Let's check the indicators. So the EMA lines look okay. It doesn't really seem to respect them too much. It respects the 250 when they're together, though, for sure. So that's going to be a resistance moving forward. It has to break those. It's about to be oversold. Stochastic's going to come down. Close to divergence, but not one yet. And then MACD is kind of coiling. So it's a lot of coiling. It looks like it's a lot of price action, kind of like, hence the triangle. And when it busts out, it's going to go one way very, very strongly. I'd buy in tonight, probably. I will. But this looks like a really, really good chart. RRC is a really good look. All right, next is AT&T. Now, I'm not the biggest guy when it comes to such stark, extreme trend lines, but it's living for a reason. This, again, is not an accident. So it's coming down to it. I would not buy until it hits in the channel just because I want to have a clear area of value. It does kind of intercede with, again, over here, this is such an area of bouncing around. And again, it's in this area of bouncing around. So I would not be shocked if it comes up and then drops down to maybe 29.30. And if that's the case, we're going to buy back in and make some good moves. But right here, it hits that trend line again. I'd buy in. It's just going to be a nice, extreme hike up. I like it a lot. Let's check the indicators. So you can see it's a simple 50 MA bounce. Right off of me loading it, you can just see 50, 50, 50, 50, 50. The 50 doesn't hold, get rid of it, right? So if this doesn't hold, channel doesn't hold, I'd get rid of it. As simple as that. And then you can rebuy in at the 200 EMA, which will probably interlock with the support area. RSI needs to drop a little bit more, which will probably put us in the channel. That's good. Stochastic can't get too much lower. MACD is stupid. So there you go. I think if it lives in the channel, go long. If tomorrow we see it kind of leveling off or towards the end of the day, it's only 245, I would definitely go long because a good 50 MA bounce play is always welcome. TWNK, TWNK or Hostess brand, my favorite. So we have a almost a very similar play to Aqua a few weeks ago, if any of you guys remember that. It just broke above and then just went, and just like really easily just made this beautiful bowl shape off of the old resistance as a new support area. And it has some room to drop into this channel area. So I wouldn't be so shocked if it drops a little bit more. But this is a very strong resistance. I mean, like, it was like, don't try that again. Stop. No, please don't. And really stopped it. And now it's showing some life. So tomorrow, if you go long, you can easily make a good 6% over the next few days as it kind of curls back up. If it dies, dope. Because if it dies, we're just going to buy in at this 13.6 line, this trend line. That's such a perfect lineup. And then we can go long, and then we make, 8% instead. So I would put it on your watch list. It's definitely showing life. I don't know, folks like Twinkies are in winter, I guess. But let's check the indicators. Again, a simple 50 EMA bounce. I mean, look at that. Bounce, 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 bounce. So if it lives here tomorrow, you're going to just get a simple 50 EMA bounce. Now, these are not huge moves. All right, 3%. All right, you'll take that. 8%. All right, you'll take that. Right, but again, it gives you risk versus reward. Your risk is going to be anywhere below the 50 EMA that you feel comfortable with. You could do the strategy I talked about, ATR trailing stop loss, whatever you want to do. 10 EMA line on a different chart. I don't care. Whatever tickles your fancy. But that's going to be your area of value, support, and 50 EMA. RSI is fair, but again, it doesn't really seem to get overbought or oversold. It just seems to kind of muddle around the middle. Stochastic is drastically low. That's a fantastic sign. And MACD is almost at 0. And the MACD shape is definitely kind of curling back to the green. All fantastic signs. Twinkie, I'll go long tomorrow if I see any type of life. Last and not least is this gorgeous uptrend that just tapped in. And again, you want to buy on the first pullback if you miss it. And again, you can look for historical data to make sure there are pullbacks. Watch this. Run up, pullback. Run up, pullback. Run up, pullback. Run up, pullback. You're going to see red with any uptrend. Get used to it. So we have a support area, obviously right here. It lived. It was resistance. It was support, a bunch of wicks and a wick. So this is a very strong area. So you're talking maybe 1.3% away. But again, put that in context that it just hit the channel and now it seems to be kind of pulling back a little bit. This is definitely, again, not an accident. It never is. So this is definitely descending, showing lower highs, but we have higher lows. It will break one way or the other eventually. I'm hoping it goes up because if so, we're talking easily 12, 13, 15%. And again, it may just be a small break and then retests. And again, we will often see this just for semantics. It'll break above like this, come down, test that, and then take off again. So it may take a few days, maybe a few weeks, but VMC, and I called this earlier this week, what a fantastic setup. Let's check the indicators. And again, it's a simple 200 EMA play, right? You can just see it doesn't give a golly gee willikers by anything besides this 200, and that's where it's holding at, right? So I don't like, actually I don't mind it. You see how it kind of dips below it really quick? Well, that's what we got. So it needs to hold. RSI was recently oversold, and that definitely showed up on folks' things. There definitely is not a divergence yet. It all looks to check out, and MACD is low. So that's your play, right? That's your area of value. That's your stop loss. Below 200 EMA, below this channel. And again, you could hold on to it until, $133. That's only 3%. You'll take that. But the indicators look really good for this. VMC is a complete snack. And there you have it. That was our 12 plays. 12 plays, my boy. And they all look really good. We'll review all of our stocks we chose on Friday. I have one more watch list day for you. That's going to be on Thursday. So keep me updated on what you guys need, what kind of videos you want, anything you guys may need at all. I'm here to help. I want to make this a community, not just a channel. I want to make sure this is going to be beneficial for everybody, where everyone's making some good money. That's the goal for sure. If you need anything else, please let me know. If not, subscribe, like, bell notification. Please, I appreciate you. XOXO, and we'll see you guys tomorrow.